tracking monkeypox. Cases are growing, and we'll tell you where they're popping up now.
Tracking the cold front that will bring us a chilly start to the weekend.
And changing the game, a look at an iconic video game title that revolutionized video games as we know them today. This is News 4 Now for June 17th. I'm Kay Ingram. And first up, the number of monkeypox cases in New York State is on the rise. I'm talking about 25 cases around the state and 5 new ones just here in New York City. There are more positive cases outside of the city. Westchester and Sullivan counties now have 1 confirmed case each. The city has a total of 19. New York accounts for nearly a third of the 72 cases reported across the U.S., the country's largest monkeypox outbreak ever. Meanwhile, in Brooklyn, the MTA is trying to figure out what happened as a subway rider died moments after stepping off of the Q train. It happened at the Avenue M stop in Midwood late Wednesday night. Investigators say 37-year-old Marcus Bryant had just gotten off the train and somehow got stuck between the moving train and the platform. Bryant fell onto the tracks just as another train came into the station. The MTA is investigating whether the train's conductor followed safety guidelines that require them to scan the platform before leaving a station. This surveillance video from East New York shows burglars breaking into a deli on Elton Street when it was closed. Police video also shows thieves dragging an ATM from inside a clothes shop on Fulton Street. One clerk believes they're pros.
The crazy thing is they know what they definitely been here because they only broke the particular spot where the ATM was. They didn't break nowhere else. They just broke that spot.
Everything from laundromats to donut shops have been targeted since December. This crime spree appears similar to a different one we highlighted back in April. But so far, police aren't trying to tie the two together. And a young whale, not usually seen in this part of the country, was found stranded on a beach in Brooklyn. The New York Marine Rescue Center says it was seen over the weekend at Plum Beach. Bystanders pushed the 9-foot-long whale back into water, which experts do not recommend. The whale beached itself again and soon died. A necropsy has been performed to determine exactly what was wrong with it. Authorities want to remind people whales are a protected species and interacting with them is illegal.
Hi there, I'm Storm Team 4 meteorologist Maria LaRosa, and as we get ready for what is going to be a really cool start to the weekend, we got to finish up with the warmth and humidity. That's the cold front, and there may be some spotty showers, especially early in the evening. Otherwise, fair skies overnight. You can see a few clouds time to time north and west through tomorrow morning, but the humidity is really going to drop. Temperatures will as well. Now, the wind's making a big difference too. They started off the day from the southwest, and then by overnight tonight with that cold front coming on through out of the northwest. But you can see by tomorrow morning already gusting in that 15-25 mile per hour range, and that's where they stay during the afternoon. So with high temperatures only in the 60s, yeah, you've definitely got a cool start to the weekend. As far as low temperatures starting off tomorrow morning in the 60s from the city, we'll dip into the mid and upper 50s from Sussex, Poughkeepsie, and Monticello.
And finally, it's Friday, so why not end on a fun one? There is a title of a game that we all know and love and is iconic, period. I'm talking about PacMan. And NBCLX looked into how the game became so iconic and revolutionized games moving forward. Check it out.
It's crazy how you can travel around with such a small handheld device filled with entertainment. There are over 2.5 billion people in the world that play video games. But that wasn't always the case. So, what happened? The first video game was invented in 1958, but it wasn't until 1980 that one little man revolutionized the way video games are made. I decided to do a little digging and spoke with Tim Lapatino, co-author of PacMan, Birth of an Icon, to find out what makes this hungry yellow fella an icon.
Championed the idea that you needed a character to headline your game. It wasn't just about a fun gameplay. You needed a character with some sort of personality. The games that were popular at the time were shooters and space games, and he wanted a game that had a different feel to it, that was almost like a puzzle game. Toru Iwatani, with a bunch of other programmers and developers and designers, created PacMan.
Wait a second. I know what you're thinking. PacMan? That's not his name. Well, Namco decided to change his name before they brought him overseas because they felt it could get misconstrued. Well, now that we're on the same page, how did PacMan make it to the States?
A guy named Stan Jarocki, who was a marketing executive at Midway, and he saw this weird little Japanese game that was very different than a lot of the other games that they would license from Japan and bring over to the United States. And he championed it, and they brought it over here, and it was a mega hit. It broke the record for the amount of cabinets, arcade cabinets sold at that time, which I think was just shy of 100,000. And that sort of blew open the doors. And they took the Pac-Man character and kind of ran with it. And they made t-shirts, and they made toys and sticker books and underwear and breakfast cereal and bowls and, name it, and there was a Pac-Man toothbrush, prototype for a Pac-Man toilet seat. But like Pac-Man everything. They had the foresight to see that people connected to this character, and thus they could license it. And that was really, really unusual for video games, but it also left a huge mark on pop culture.
Not just pop culture, Pac-Man is what got us girls into gaming.
Pac-Man really sort of kicked off women, sort of coming into the video game industry and specifically arcades for the first time in a huge way. And that was something that was not the case, previous to that. And it kind of ushered a whole different audience into the arcade scene. And then Miss Pac-Man actually outsold Pac-Man. It was like 100, depending on the estimates that you believe, it's 116, 130,000 arcade cabinets, which is just crazy money in that era.
And to make sure we didn't leave anybody out, the kids were involved too.
Going into my daughter's class one day a couple of years ago, I said, I write books about video games. And I said, who knows who Pac-Man is? And all these 5-year-olds raised their hands. And it just blew my mind. Because I was thinking, how on earth do they all know about Pac-Man? And I realized that there's a cultural memory. There's a new video game technology. Pac-Man is there. And I think that's because the basic game is so simple and so easy to just comprehend that it's a great candidate to bring into a new technology, because everyone can get what Pac-Man's about. So Pac-Man ends up becoming sort of the leading edge of whatever new video game technology there is.
All right, friends, that's it for today's show. Thanks for tuning in. I will see you back here next week. Have fun, get outside, enjoy this weather, and we'll see you back here next time. Bye.